here. I have been promising to give you some recipes to help get rid of those nasty little worms that get in our butts and make us itch and all that kind of stuff. And finally, I'm getting around to it. Sorry it took me so long. But today's recipe is suppositories. Now, what you do is you go to the herb store and you buy wormwood. Sweet Annie wormwood, absinthe wormwood. It doesn't matter. I kind of think the absinthe is the best. Some people are afraid of it because they think that it's going to make them drunk and all that. Did not have that experience myself. But then we are talking suppositories going up the rear end instead of taking them down, swallowing. So, you get you those herbs, and you can mix in a little green black walnut hull if you want to, and it won't hurt to put in a dab of cloves. And you grind those up in a coffee grinder until it's real fine, and you strain it through a tea strainer until all you have is powder. And then you put that powder in some coconut oil, and you stir it up really good in a little cup that has a spout on it like this one. And once it's stirred up really good, you make yourself a suppository cup. Now, you get a piece of tin foil about this size, and this is parchment paper to keep your formula from sticking to your tin foil. And what you do is you wrap that tin foil around a finger or an ink pen or something until it's like that. You wrap it around, and you make a little cup. And you twist one end off, and you pour that formula you made with cloves and wormwood and green black walnut hull and coconut oil into this little cup. And then you have a little cup, and then you squeeze off the other end, and you put it in the freezer, and 30 minutes later, you got a suppository, and you can just pop that little thing right up that rosy red little spot that's itching, and those worms will run like crazy because they hate that stuff, and they will stop nipping at your behind, and you can get rid of them that way. Now, if that makes you need to poop, as soon as you poop, put another one in, because you want to keep that dose right on those bugs, and sometimes you poop out some, and there's some further up in that did not get reached by that first dose. So put in another dose. And you just keep dosing them until they stop itching you. And it could take a while now because they lay eggs and they hatch out later on. And you could go to a restaurant, for goodness sake, and shake somebody's hand and get a worm egg on your finger and then accidentally inhale it or something, or you get worm eggs everywhere. You can get worm eggs, you can get worm eggs everywhere. They are ubiquitous. They're ubiquitous to us. They get in us, on us, and they try to inhabit our bodies, and we have to have collective consciousness effort to get rid of these worms, because if we do not, they are going to undermine the whole human race and make us ornery and mean and grouchy because we itch and we feel bad, and no telling what kind of hemorrhoids are going to pop out and what kind of surgeries they are going to want to do on us if we have worms. Worms lead to all kinds of health problems. I don't care what they say about worms not being harmless and not hurting you. I would not believe that if I were you, because eventually you may need surgery, and guess what? If you had got rid of the worms a long time ago, you might not need the surgery. Now, we worm our cats, we worm our dogs, we worm our livestock. Hell, they even put, I shouldn't have said that nasty word. No, forgive me. Okay, heck, they even put fungicides and pesticides and things like that on the plants. But then we want to pretend we don't have worms. And if worms can get on all that other stuff, plants and animals and everything, what makes us think that they're not going to get on us, especially with all the stuff that's falling down out of the sky, coming out of the tailpipes of airplanes? We have pollution, folks, and we inhale that, and that weakens our cellular integrity, and that makes us vulnerable to getting worms, and that's why we have to treat ourselves, because we have to come out of denial and get rid of these worms. That's all I'm saying. Is we got a new age coming, and there's a new dispensation, and it happens to be nature-made deworming herbs that give us the nutritional support that we need to prevent ourselves from getting sick from worms. So that's all I'm going to say about that. And if you don't want to take your advice from me and make suppositories and things, just head on over to the Parasite Forum at CureZone and ask questions to your heart's content and find out from the experts what they recommend to do, because who knows, they may know more than me, and one of them might even be me. You never know who you're going to run into at the Parasite Forum at CureZone. Thank you for watching. Bye.